when you introduce me. So please accept my sincere thanks for your kind words and nice introduction. Let us, as Ankit sir has rightly said, let us begin by paying our rich tribute to Santa Gadge Baba, under whose name Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University Amravati is instituted. I am thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and most importantly, Director Dr. Atik sir of MMTTC of Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University, as well as our today's collaborating institution, Honorable D.Y. Patil sir's University, and its affiliated college, that is Ramdev Shri Adik College of Engineering. So Ramrao Adik Sahib's College of Engineering. So I am thankful to both the institutions, as well as I am thankful to all learned participants who made it convenient to attend this NEP or awareness program. May I request, yes, Dipali ma'am, please mute your mic because it disturbs a lot. So friends, let us have planning for our today's session. As Ankit sir has rightly said, we have 3 hours session today on fundamental concept, aim and domains as envisioned in the policy of national education 2020, as well as to implement the policy, some national level frameworks to ensure uniformity, etc. They have provided. We will try to understand those important frameworks, and finally, we will try to understand the fundamentals of outcome-based education expected. Because we are completely moving, we reoriented ourselves towards level-based, competency-based qualifications and outcome-based education. So what are the fundamental premises of this? We will try to explore in today's session. Again, as Ankit has rightly said, let us try to make it more interactive. So my request is, all of us are from teachers' fraternity, so there is no much difference. You people are already implementing it. So at times, there must maybe certain areas where the expert delegates may be having more experience, more knowledge about certain points. So they can definitely intervene. I will not call it interfere, but intervene and tell whatever extra or additional things are they are aware about, so that everybody, including me, will get benefit out of it. Secondly, wherever you feel some clarifications are required, let us not wait till end, etc. You can simply stop me. We can discuss then and there itself also. So let us make it more interactive session, open session. So nobody is on any higher platform if we are all as one platform. So it is exchange of knowledge, exchange of information, creating awareness not amongst you only, but knowing something. It's my learning exercise for me too. Now, this session, we will have it in 2 parts. First part, we will have of about 1 hour, 20-25 minutes. Then we will take a, you can say, tea break or rest of 10 minutes. And immediately after that, we will continue for our part 2, which will be again of about 120-125 minutes. Then we will have 10-15 minutes question answer or interactive session. Again, I repeat, it's not necessary that interaction should take place only at the end. Anytime during these 3 hours also we can have. Each part, that is part 1 and part 2, let us have 2 sessions. So in our first part, we will have 2 sessions, session 1 and session 2. And in second part, we will have session 3 and session 4. This is how we will go about. Now, when we talk about NEP, first and foremost thing you must have been implementing also, and it is necessary also, that whenever there is any session where teaching learning or facilitation learning takes place, the start of the session should have some cycle such that before starting any training, any session, Let it be our 1 hour regular class also, our classroom instructions also. Before starting any session, the facilitator must express very clearly what are the expected learning outcomes of that session. So the learner must know why learners will should attend. Facilitator or teacher must know why the session is being conducted, and both of them must know what are the expected learning outcome of that session, and it has to be done with some small assessment to ensure that whatever were expected outcomes, they are attained. The learner should demonstrate the attainment of those outcomes. Let it be for a single hour session or session like this 3 hour session. So continuing what is expected in NEP, let us also go by same expectation. So for session 1, now we are starting with part 1, which will consist of session 1 and 2. So what are our learning outcomes, expected learning outcomes after this session is all the learned participants will be able to understand what are the pillars of NEP 2020, what are the concepts, aims, domains of and types of education as envisioned in NEP 2020. Why this session? Because once we understand the pillars or journey of NEP, once we understand what is the basic vision or you can say foundation of on the background of this vision, then at the time of implementation, whatever actions and activities we conduct, they should get related with the spirit of NEP, with concept and vision of NEP. So to have proper implementation of policy, we must understand the foundation of policy. So this first session, let us go for foundation of policy. Friends, all of us know that this NEP 2020 was, the draft was submitted somewhere in 2014, and finally it came out as a accepted national policy in 2020. So in short time, let us understand this, how this policy is different than earlier policies. It is not first time that India has come out with certain commissions or recommendations or policies regarding education and higher education since independence. After, you can say, independence, that is, you can say, then we had that time Radhakrishnan Commission was there, Kothari Commission was there, Yashpal Commission was there. So there were various commissions from time to time as per need of time to recommend, you can say, reforms in education and in higher education. But those commissions were keeping in tune with the requirement of particularly the time that time and national agendas before that. And they were, you can say, the commissions were for certain period by certain government, and their recommendations were implemented subsequently. But the fundamental difference between earlier commissions and this is that when our last education policy was implemented somewhere in 1985 or so, that same time, the journey of this NEP 2020 started. In the sense, we know that in 1987, India became the signatory of Washington Accord. And what was that Washington Accord largely about? It was about measurable parameters of education system program wise, particularly technical education, benchmarking of those parameters with international standards, and there was some audit team, some monitoring, which it was basically based on inputs and processes and the standards of degrees awarded of a given program were compared with international standard, and through that audit and certification known as accreditation, the equivalency of degree and programs were accorded. So that is how NBA, National Board of Accreditation, or later on NAC came into existence. So quality parameters, international benchmarks, some measurable parameters, comparison with international global standards, and then audit by certain external agencies and certification. Such processes came into higher education system after 1987, immediately when last policy came into existence. And accordingly, we know that that policy was also modified when we became the signatory of Washington Accord. Then somewhere in 1992 around, we as a national policy accepted liberalization, privatization and globalization as our national policy. It was not only for trade, even education was also service sector. So official globalization was accepted by our country. Then somewhere in 1996, 1997, at United Nations, Brundtland Committee report came into existence, a report which shook complete world. All 173 countries of UNO accepted it, and that report is or commonly known as the report was Our Common Future. And that report has identified the dangers before the Mother Earth. Let it be climate change, let it be global warming, but ultimately that report pointed out that whatever development in last 2 centuries after industrial revolution has taken place, those were really bringing the existence of the earth in danger. So the concept of whatever was there under pretext of development, it was not development, but it was leading to disaster. So the very concept of development was changed, and instead of development, the concept of sustainability and sustainability development came into existence, and whole world accepted it. And after 1997, somewhere that discussions
बात
went
में
on.
आता है what innovative is you are having.
Yes, then somewhere in 2003, 2004, there were Johannesburg Declaration and Bonds Declaration. And the Bonds Declaration kept the onus of sustainability and sustainability development, its awareness, its education on the shoulder of education in general and higher education in particular. You will find in this policy lot many times mention of this sustainability development goals. Say there are 17 development goals, and particularly SDG 4. So at number of places we will find the mention of this. So this also was one of the requirement and important part of journey of policy making. Then somewhere 2006-7, you can say IT revolution took place. All sectors, including banking, insurance, share market, sensitive sectors also, they were touched upon by IT revolution. Probably we, the education sector, did not change as the time really required. But COVID period taught us that no, there is no way but we cannot go away from IT revolution and IT enabled education. And reaching to masses with quality material, that is visible only with IT. So we will find that IT enabled education, reaching to unreachable, all those factors are taken care in this policy. In nutshell, right from 1985 when last policy was implemented till 2013-14 when draft was submitted, various national and international events, and they became the milestones of framing of this policy. What is the takeaway for us? The takeaway is NEP is a evolved document policy. It is not something that some for few years some committee was set and they have taken care of stock of few years or only present and came out with the recommendations. No, it is a evolved document and all national international milestones are taken care of in this policy. Or we have to accept that this policy cannot go back. Only and only thing, all of us will have to implement it as it is the reflection of our country's global commitment, maybe in the form of SDG, maybe in the form of globalization, maybe in the form of accreditation, as well as our national, you can say, requirement of reaching the unreachable, making education affordable for all. So all those aspects become the part of this policy. So the takeaway is that being evolved policy, it has got important impact of Washington Accord, globalization, sustainability development, and IT revolution. All those things are reflected in this policy. And this policy ultimately is based on 5 pillars. Why we should understand these 5 pillars? Because when it will come to implementation part, whatever actions, activities we conduct at the time of implementation, we will find that those activities are connected or network with these 5 pillars. The 5 pillars of NEP on which complete policy and then our implementation rest. First is access. Access, the policy makers or draft of the policy. Dr. Kasturi Rangan sirs was the chairman and 9 members were there. They found that in India, particularly for higher education, the gross enrollment ratio is very low. What is gross enrollment ratio? The number of students who joined university level system upon number of students who qualify 12th or equivalent examination. Means the ratio of joining of 12th pass student to university system was less than 25%. If 100 students pass 12th or equivalent exam, 25 or less, they come to university education system. And first and foremost recommendation of this policy is we have to increase this GER from present 25 or then 25 to 50, double the ratio within before 2035. So you will find in implementation there are various provisions such as multi-entry, multi-exit. Then you can say level-based education. Those who have not formally done education after 8th standard. So many students who have done only 10th and some requirement of prior learning, they can come to university education. Even 8th standard, but those who have acquired some vocation and vocational qualifications, after recognizing their prior learning and level, they can also come to university level education. So you will find there are many provisions where access to higher education is increased, thereby level-based education concept and multi-entry, multi-exit education system is in coming. Modular education is coming. Flexible education is coming. So those who are involved in admission, etc., they will be required to understand that now it is not only 12th pass, but 12th equivalent or equivalent level. Later on we will see, but just I will mention anybody who is qualified at level 4 can enter in level 4.5. Level 4.5 is our university level 1st year entry level, while level 4 is 12th or equivalent. 12th equivalent. 12th equivalent, 12th level 4 is 12th or equivalent. 4.5 is 4.5 is our university level 1st year entry level, while level 4 is 12th or equivalent. 12th equivalent, 12th level 4 is 12th or equivalent. So we will have to understand mechanisms, how those multiple entries are made possible in this policy, and while implementation, we will have to take care of it. Second important recommendation is whether the student belongs to any location, metro, urban or rural, or of any strata, nobody should be denied of education, and same quality and quantity of education every student should get, whether student is from Mumbai or from Nagpur or from Gadchiroli or from any rural place. The same quality and quantity of education every stakeholder should get. This is the concept of equity in this policy, and for that purpose, you will find mode of learning have been made very, very widely open. Let it be open distance learning, let it be online learning, let it be blended learning, let it be classroom instructions, let it be experiential learning, let it be through MOOC or self-learning. Mode of learning is made acceptable, and important is made is assessment and showing the outcome. You will find through this measure of equity, the credit standardization, equivalence of credit, depositing in academic bank of credit, transfer of credit, flexibility to learn from any mode. 40% of the learning can be through Swayam or MOOC. So to that extent, the flexibility is brought through this policy to ensure that irrespective of the strata or location, same quantity and quality education should be available to any learner, anytime, anywhere, and personalized learning. That type of concept is contemplated through this pillar of equity. What is the takeaway for with the, you can say, educators? That when earlier our concept that so much attendance is required, student must report, probably in coming years such concept will go away. And if the student comes and says, I will learn it from open source, MOOC or any of the open platform, we will have to permit that student. If the student comes and earns something through experiential learning, vocational learning, blended learning, flipped learning, project-based learning, any mode of learning will have to be accepted. Rider is we have to tell what is our expected learning outcome. We have to assess, and the learner has to demonstrate attainment of those outcomes. That's all. Once the student demonstrate the outcome, we have to give credits and, you can say, all qualifications. So that much flexibility and equity is to be achieved, and you will find number of mechanisms are provided for this. So we, the educator, must understand this second pillar also, because at our individual level, we will have to provide availability of all modes of learning to our learner. Third is, of course, quality. We know Washington Accord. We know global standard, international benchmark. That is the, you can say, the benchmark for our education also. So what is expected in NEP as per Washington Accord, as per National Board of Accreditation, as per NAC, there will be measurable parameters, specifications for every program and every level of program. And those specifications will be of global standard. And the program will have to ensure that outcomes are measurable, outcomes benchmark are global standard, and students attend those benchmark, and then only they get the qualification. So this approach will be there for ensuring the quality as per international standard. Of course, in India is a very heterogeneous country, so affordability is very important. The important recommendation of this policy is no learner should be deprived of non-affordability at any level. So there are many suggestions, recommendations for national government, state government, philanthropists, universities and institutions to make education affordable. And last is accountability. Now, this pillar, whose accountability, how that accountability will be fixed. So, if we see the mandate given to we the educators, even though presently the instruments of fixing accountability are not clearly spelled out, but we, the educators, should keep in mind that fifth pillar of NEP is accountability. So we, the educator, we, the university, we, the institute, we, the faculty and teachers, and the student, everybody will be held accountable for not coming up to the benchmark or not demonstrating the attainment of expected outcomes. In what way that accountability will be fixed? Who will be responsible? If not met, what will be the, you can say, remedial measures? How that audit of accountability will be done? 100% instruments have not come out, but when we are implementing NEP and we are educator, we cannot forget that there will be a rider of fifth pillar, accountability. And since we are going for outcome-based education, obviously outcome means certain benchmark, measurement of parameter, some auditing, fixing responsibilities, feedback, and ensuring that every outcome matches with the expected benchmark. So that type of system will come when the accountability instruments will come out and it will be implemented in totality. But presently, access, equity, quality, and affordability for these, you can say, pillars, all instruments are there for to facilitate us for implementation. Now, once we have understood what are the, you can say, journey of formation of NEP, what are the pillars of NEP, now let us peep into the policy document. Friends, this is the document, probably first time very clearly certain concepts and certain terms are well defined and made very clear, such as what is education. When we say that we impart education, is what is that we really do? When learners say we are taking education, what really goes from we the educators to the learners in the form of education? What is that package consist of? What is meaning of education and what is the purpose of education? Why we should, you can say, impart education and why learners should take education? These things are very clearly explained in this policy document. And before we go for implementation strategies, we must understand in what business we are, what is education, and what is our purpose of existence. After that, once we understand what is education, you will be able to understand there are three domains of education, and each domain is having 5, 6, 7 levels. And this policy's high recommendation is integration of various types of education. So when we will implement integration, we must understand what are types which we are expected to integrate. So in few minutes, let us try to understand what is education. Friends, this policy has seen various Western thinkers concept of education, Indian thinkers of concept of education, and finally they have come out with concept of education in this policy. They have seen what Socrates talks about, Aristotle says, Plato says, Swami Vivekananda says, and finally, the concept of education accepted in this policy says education is manifestation of divine perfection, which is already within an individual. See, understand the key word. It talks about individual. So henceforth, education will be personalized education, individualistic education. What was our concept of education up till now? We used to have a group of students, maybe class of 60, maybe a practical batch of 20, maybe project batch of 6, maybe a division of 60. So we used to have certain like authoritarian or military way of division. Say there was regiment or battalion. Regiments like civil engineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering, and battalions like class of 60. And our premise was everybody in that class is uniform, and whatever we tell, everybody receives in same way, everybody follows it, everybody is interested in that only. And we used to have battalion and regiment sort of a system in our education. But now NEP says it should be individualistic, personalized. In NEP document, at number of places, you will find a mention of personalized learning and individualized learning. So one or our new orientation is uniform, you can say understanding that a group is uniform and we teach to a group of students and students learn because we teach. Now NEP completely explores this concept. They say that it is individual's interest, personalized passion, and it is personalized learning that takes place. It is group learning does not take place. And what is education? Education is nothing of that sort that teachers do and student take. The policy's definition of education is there is certain speciality, attributes, divine perfections already existing in an individual. Every individual is special. Every individual has got passion. Every individual has got interest. And what is our role is to make students understand themselves. We have to facilitate the learner to know thyself first. Once we help students to know themselves, once they understand what are their specialities, divine specialities already existing, given by nature in them, then we have to facilitate to enhance or manifestation of those perfection. That is what is education. So our role as preacher is shifted to a role of facilitator. So what is our role as per NEP? Make students know themselves first. And once their specialities are identified, their interests are known to them as well as to we, the teacher, help them to manifest those specialities, those passions, those interests by providing knowledge, by imbibing skills, and by, you can say, developing their character and behavior. Once that is done, the learner, it is a learner-centric learner will learn because it's that individual's passion. So complete concept of education is changed by defining education in this policy. Second thing, this policy clearly states education integrates complex of knowledge, attitude, and skills. So when we say we impart education, we have to facilitate the learner to develop his or her areas of interest and passion by providing three domains. Provide information and knowledge of those areas of interest, provide 21st century skills in those areas of interest, and ensure proper attitude, behavior, values, ethics in related to those areas of interest in the student. So education means integration of knowledge, attitude, and skill. And what we educate in means facilitation of learner in two ways: to identify them themselves, and once identified, facilitate them by providing adequate knowledge, attitude, and skills in those areas or for those attributes. This is the concept of education. Again, why it is necessary for us to understand those fundamental concepts? Because when we will design curriculum or when we will impart syllabi or curriculum, on this concept only we have to go ahead. Now, aims of education, one thing we have understood what is education. Second question is also very clearly given, explained in this policy. What for education? Why should we impart and why should student take what is known as education? The very clear thing is aim of education will not only be cognitive, knowledge related, information related development is not the only thing, but developing character, creating holistic, well-rounded individuals. Again, the word group is not there, class is not there, individual is there, equipped with 21st century skills. Now, next aim or mandate given to us is very important. I draw your attention towards fifth pillar of accountability. What for we may be held accountable. It is mandate given to us is we the educator must prepare students for three things. One is for their meaningful and satisfying lives. अर्थपूर्ण उद्देशपूर्ण जीवन जगतील याच्यासाठी त्यांना तयार करणं. What is the meaning? Tomorrow when audit may take place, when accountability may be fixed, that time they will see our pass outs, those who have passed out from our institutions. After 5-6 years, they may take survey and they may check whether our alumni are leading meaningful and satisfying lives or not. If not, probably they may say that we are responsible and we may be held accountable if they are not leading satisfying lives. Second mandate to us, we have the word must is used. With the education system must prepare for their future job roles. So now we know that job conditions, economic conditions are very dynamic. They are changing very fast. But policy expects that student who is admitted in first year say, who may pass out after 4 years, 5 years, we have to look what may be job profiles and job roles our first year student may have when that student enters into economic field. After 5, 6, 7 years, what will be the various economic field for which field we are preparing the student, and in the field, what may be the responsibility and job roles, and those job roles, responsibilities and requirements are expected to be fulfilled, imbibed when they are in education sector. So we have to forecast the various job roles. We have to remain very much dynamic. And if the student fail in their job roles, probably along with student, we may be held responsible. That is what may be the fifth pillar. We are accountable for preparing our students for their future job roles. And third mandate is we have to prepare students to enable them for economic independence. Very clearly, the mandate is given to we the educators, we the university, we the institute, we the faculty, we the department. For these three things, our purpose of existence is mentioned is that. What is our role? We have to prepare students for these three areas. We have to keep it in mind when we dynamically change our curriculum. We impart our curriculum through syllabi. And when we assess our student, we have to keep in mind the mandate given to the educators. So the way ahead is also given. The policy says to ensure our responsibility given in three ways and to ensure fulfilling the definition of education. Education must move with less content and more towards learning. So from teaching centric, learner centric, we have to prepare our student as critical thinker and problem solver. Education has to be creative and multidisciplinary. This is what the path is given. And we have to develop not only cognitive, but also higher order cognitive skills, behavior, social, ethical, emotional capacities, and most importantly, dispositions, which ultimately affect the behavior of a person. So we have understood from what is education, and education means knowledge, education means second is skilling, and third is disposition. So on that basis, there are three domains of education. When we say that we are educating, we are educator, it means we are working in three domains. What are those three domains? First is cognitive domain, second is psychomotor domain, and third is affective domain. Cognitive domain means knowledge domain, information domain. Remember, there are two components for this domain. One is descriptive knowledge, that is knowing that something like you can say theories, concepts, principle, then you can say policies. So those such things, that is knowing that theoretical portion is known as descriptive component. And second is procedural knowledge, that is knowing how the abilities and skills through this form of knowledge unable to act based on understanding. So even in knowledge domain, we are expert in knowledge domain. Our Indian education system has been doing this wonderfully for years together, knowledge domain. But now in knowledge domain also, we have to ensure that our curriculum syllabi has both the component, descriptive component as well as procedural component also. Now this cognitive domain is having 6 stages. They are known as Bloom's taxonomy, and those stages of information, understanding, thinking, knowledge are: lowest is memorizing or remembering, that is recalling previously learned material. Remember, for higher education, remembering or memorizing, just reciting the table or just memorizing certain laws or certain principle, at times it may be required. Is it that memorizing or remembering is not at all required? No. But thrust should not be very high. It is the lowest stage of knowledge, memorizing or remembering. Above that is understanding, comprehension. That is grasping the meaning of material, explaining the ideas and concepts. But remember, for higher education, comprehension is also a lower level. So memorizing, understanding, we regularly ask this question to the student. Have you understood? Is it not necessary to understand? Yes. But is it sufficient? No. Only memorizing and understanding will not suffice anything. So that is also considered as lower level. So when we will design curriculums, we will, you can say, have syllabi, we will teach to the student or we will assess. We have to keep in mind, even in cognitive domain subjects, memorizing and understanding should have less thrust. But third stage of application, that is whatever is understood, students should be able to use it in new and concrete situation. And higher will be analyzing, evaluation and synthesis. So whenever we will design curriculum, if it is for first year lower level, second year medium level, third year higher, fourth year still higher, PG is still higher, so as our level will go high, we have to keep in mind, we have to also move from remembering comprehension application to compression application analysis to application analysis evaluation to analysis evaluation and synthesis. This is the guideline to have level-based education, which we will see after some time in this session only. Now, second is a psychomotor domain, that is skilling domain. Remember two terminologies for this. One is skill and second is competency, capacity and competency. This psychomotor, it is about doing ability to do the things, whatever is understood, the learner should be able to apply. Learner should be able to do the things. So there are two things, what students know and what students are able to do. So able to do is psychomotor or skill domain, and our curriculum syllabi must have equal weightage of psychomotor domain, that is skill domain. You will find this domain is also having 7 stages. Get, set, go. Perception, set and guided response. Something like imitating and practicing skills in discrete step. These are lower stages. So student is told what is to be done. Everything is told, he is the demonstrated how the things are to be done. And student become expert in exercising whatever has been told or whatever has been demonstrated to do. To that extent, it is also a lower stage. So perception, set and guided response are lower stages. In our higher education, it may begin from guided response, mechanism, complete overt response, adoption, and finally creating new patterns for specific situation, that is organization. So we have to keep in mind that as in case of cognitive domain, equal weightage has to be given to doing skilling domain, and that domain is also level based. Lowest is perception set and highest is adoption and creating new patterns. So our curriculum should clearly distinguish, we should be able to demonstrate that as our students go from say first year to final year, from final year to postgraduate, from postgraduate to research, the skill sets, the ability, capacities, competencies also go from perception to organization. So this will have to be clearly seen and students should be able to demonstrate as the student rises to another level. And for us, the curriculum and syllabus designing must take care of levels of psychomotor domain as well as we have understood for cognitive domain. Third domain in which we will be operating is affective domain, that is values and disposition domain. Now, this policy has clearly stated that effective action needs strong motivation in addition to knowledge and capacity. So having knowledge or having competency is not sufficient. To practice actual practices, motivation is equally important. And our value system and dispositions, they are the sources for motivation. So the policy expects that value system, ethical system, constitutional values, human values, attitude, their behavior, all are developed conducive for, you can say, so that the students are prepared behavior wise, motivation wise, requirement of, you can say, their qualifications. So motivation, values, dispositions, that is also equal component or domain in education. So education will have three domains: knowledge domain, skill domain, values disposition domain. And this values disposition domain will also have stages. As student will move from lower level to higher level, this, you can say, stages of affective domain will also move from receiving to responding, valuing, organization, and finally internalizing. How it is done, that we will see when we will discuss higher education qualification framework, level-based competencies and values required. That in that session, in third session, we will see it. But presently, what is required to be understood by all of us is that education means in three domains. Each domain has got levels and stages, and depending upon the level of education, we have to select all three domains, but their proper stages, so that level-based competencies are imbibed in the student. So I hope all three domains are understood and their levels are also understood by all of us. Last part of fundamental thing is this policy very strongly recommends the integration of various types of education. So we have to understand what are those types of education. One is academic education, which we are very much accustomed with. This academic education focus on cognitive domain, that is information and knowledge domain. Over the years, we know that our particularly UGC regulated courses, they deal with academic domain or cognitive domain or academic education. Second is vocational education. What is education? Vocational education? It means it imparts, there is a close linking of knowledge and skills to specific work situation in the economy. In vocational education, a student is provided with defined set of practical competencies in specific areas of work in the economy. So accordingly, knowledge, skills, and attitudes relating to that field of work are developed. Now, NEP's strongest recommendation is integration of academic education and vocational education. So every education, let it be BA, BCom, BSc, we in BE have large extent integration of vocational, but now a specific keeping the job profile or works future work situation, in what areas the our graduates are likely to go and work, mapping with those requirements, we have to have vocational education component in our engineering education also. So integration of vocational education is highest recommendation. Other education we know, professional education and technical education. I need not deal it because we belong to technical and professional education. We know. So these are various types of education, and one of the strongest recommendation of NEP is we should not have education in isolation. We have to have integration of these various types of education, and approach should be of multidisciplinary education, including humanities, science, commerce, management, engineering, vocation, and as a multidisciplinary personality, a student should come out as a graduate. So here we finish our session 1 of our part 1. So as I told you, we had already given the learning outcomes. Let us have a small assessment whether we have understood. I do not expect to answer it immediately, but let us just recap it. I hope everybody of us now remember what are the pillars of NEP. Five pillars we have seen: access, equity, quality, affordability, accountability. So those pillars, and in depth, each pillars, you can see evolution we have seen. We have understood concept of education. We know education is about manifestation of perfection already existing in individual. And education now talks about personalized learning, individualist learning. Education believes that every individual is unique and separate. So concept of uniform class of 60, that concept is changed to person, individual, with attributes already present, interest, passion already present in that individual. Our role is to make student aware of their speciality and help them to manifest those interests, those passions, by providing them adequate knowledge, skills, and behavior in those areas of interest of individual. That is the concept of education. So we, the teachers, are no more preachers, but we are the facilitators. Facilitation in two terms. One, to identify the help student to identify their specialties, and then help the student to manifest those specialties by providing knowledge, skill, and attitude. Mandate for us with the educator is very clear. We have to prepare our student, the learner, so that they lead a happy and meaningful life, उद्देशपूर्ण, अर्थपूर्ण जीवन ते जगू शकतील. We have to prepare them for future job roles in the area of economy. And third is, we have to help students to become economically independent. We may be accountable for that, but that is the very clear mandate given to us. This is the purpose of our existence as educator in the system. We have understood that there are three domains, and each domain has got 5 to 7 stages. So cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain, each domain, right? Say for example, from remembering to synthesis, such type of get set go to internationalization. So these are the various things we have understood. What are those three domains, and each domain what are the stages. So we have to keep it in mind. Those have been derived from Bloom's taxonomy. Aim of education we have understood. We have to develop the student not only in cognitive, but their 21st century skills and character building in multidisciplinary areas through integration of various types. That is the aim. And for that, we have understood the types also: academic education, vocational education, professional education, technical education, teachers education. So there are various types of education, but integration of vocational and academic, and making education multidisciplinary by taking it out from silos is the main aim of NEP. I hope we have done the recap also. Please tell anything anybody wants to add or anybody wants to know from me. We will wait for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then we will go to session 2. So please, if anybody wants to add or anybody wants to, you can say, ask anything on this, we are there for a minute. I hope either everything is understood or no queries at present. But anytime, at any stage, if you wish to ask, you are free. So let us go to our session 2 of our part 1. Now, in this session, after understanding very clearly what are the fundamental concepts, aims, domains, levels, stages of those domains, now we are going into real policy document and then we will go to implementation. Now, when we go through the policy document, the important part of that policy document is everybody of us must understand the cornerstones for quality learning given in this policy. And once we understand those cornerstones, then our implementation through framework will start. So expected outcomes of our session 2 will be all learned participants will be able to understand the 4 cornerstones of quality learning as given in NEP 2020, and everybody of us will not only be able to understand but will be able to implement the credit structure for any UG and PG program as given in National Credit Framework, the first framework we will be discussing in our session 2. So please refer to clause 12 of the policy statement. That clause 12 is very important for we the teacher as it mentions the cornerstones for quality learning. What are those 4 cornerstones? First is appropriate curriculum. What does it mean by appropriate curriculum? Very clear mandate is the curriculum should be designed to ensure stimulating and engaging learning experience for all the students. So we are moving towards experiential learning to a more, and curriculum should be designed as per domains, as per stages of domain, as per levels, and as per mapping qualification. That is what is meaning by appropriate curriculum. And it should be internationally relevant curricula in science, social science also. And there should be meaningful opportunities for social engagement. So social engagement, community engagement and services is made as the important component of appropriate curriculum. Community engagement and services is made as a function of every educational institution. Curriculum engagement and service is made as a mandatory component of duties and responsibilities for all the faculties. Community engagement and service has been made mandatory component to earn credits and mandatory component of mark list and mandatory component of every undergraduate degree program. So appropriate curriculum should take care of those social engagement, community services also. And finally, appropriate curriculum should be fostered to attain goal of global quality standards. So we will again find quality means Washington Accord. So benchmarks of international standard, attainment of those benchmark related to those parameters which are measurable. So measurables means well specified. So curriculum must have well specified parameters, measurable parameters. Their benchmark should be as per global standards. And assessment means students must demonstrate their attainment of those parameters with benchmarks of global standard. So all these things together prepares appropriate curriculum. So appropriate curriculum is first cornerstone for quality learning. Second is pedagogies. With every vertical of curriculum, same teaching strategies, same teaching methodology will not work. We know curriculum will have three domains. Each domain will have stages. So whatever is suitable for knowledge domain may not be suitable for affinitive domain, may not be suitable for community engagement courses. Whatever is suitable for skills domain, psychomotor domain, may not be suitable for theoretical or academic component descriptive knowledge. So mapping with the curriculum, the strategies, methods, hence pedagogies of teaching will appropriately change, and that is what is important cornerstones for quality learning. So our present that only classroom instructions and laboratories probably will not suffice henceforth for mapping with verticals of curriculum. So we will have to devise new pedagogies for mapping with require proper vertical of curriculum. Third is continuous assessment. Assessment is made very important component as we are going from marks to credit system. And the requirement of credit earning is assessment by competent authority. The student must demonstrate the attainment of required attributes. Then and then only the student will earn the credit. We are moving towards competency-based education, and demonstration of attainment of competency is necessary condition to earn credit. That is why NEP advocates to move from high-stake examination system to continuous assessment, from summative assessment to formative assessment. So assessment is the third important cornerstone of learning. And to make it effective, fourth is student support. Because we know we are going towards personalized learning, individualistic learning. So student support is considered to be important cornerstone for learning. So when we will implement NEP, our focus should be on these four cornerstones, and when accountability will become, we will be accountable for all these four cornerstones: curriculum, appropriate pedagogy, assessment, and student support. Unless combination of all these four cornerstones are there, it is mentioned that quality learning cannot happen. So when it comes to our implementation, keep these four cornerstones in mind, whether it is curriculum designing, whether it is syllabus framing, whether it is actually imparting the syllabus, or whether assessing the student. These four cornerstones have necessarily to be kept in mind. Now, finally, what they have mentioned in this clause, you can say 12, is there will be, we are saying in a way, our moving. What is NEP? In my opinion, it is the journey from local to global through national. There has to be certain standard umbrellas because flexibility is there, transfer of credits is there, earning credit from various institutions, various modes of learning is there. So some standardization is must, otherwise there will be chaos. And to provide that standardization, some common umbrella, irrespective of where we are located, the recommendation of policy is there should be broad framework for higher education qualifications. So all of us, whether we are located in Amravati or in Navi Mumbai or in Delhi or in Chennai, wherever we are located, everybody of us will be regulated and governed under common framework. We have flexibility, we have autonomy, but it will be under those framework only. We have to operate. We cannot cross the framework. Within the framework, our autonomy is there. So let us understand what is. Now we are coming to implementation part. For implementation of NEP, let us, I repeat, all of us should understand NEP is journey from local to global through national. It is a flexible system. It is the academic bank of credit system. It is equity system. It is a system where students can earn credit from various, you can say, modes of learning. But all those things should get regulated. We are in, you can say, there is a networking of vocational education with academic education. So those who study in vocational education can enter in academic. Academic can go to vocational. There will be lateral entry, there will be multi-entry, there will be level-based entry. So everything has to be regulated through certain framework. And these three important frameworks provide the, you can say, that required templates for uniform implementation. What are those frameworks which are to be used by everybody? No exception. Those, whether we are autonomous, whether deemed university, whether we are government university, whether we are centralized university, whomsoever we are, everybody will have to follow same credit framework, same qualification framework, and same learning outcome based framework. So let us understand first credit framework, and after this we will take a break, and then we will go for other part. Now, for credit framework, this is the instrument given by our regularity statutory bodies called as National Credit Framework, in short NCRF. The document is published in April 2023. You will find Ministry of Education, UGC, AICT, NCRT, all our regularity statutory bodies, they came on the same platform and came out with this framework. It means this framework is applicable for UGC regulated courses, for AICT regulated courses, for NCRT regulated courses, all statutory regularity except law and medical, it is applicable to everybody. So very clear, one message we should take, whether we are UGC or AICT, this framework will be applicable with us. Let us understand this framework in detail, because everybody of us have to implement it, or we have already started implementing it. But let us get revise the concepts of credit framework. Begin with, what is credit? Credit is a unit of measure of coursework. Now, this coursework measure has got minimum 4 dimensions, and unless all those 4 conditions are met, no credit can be awarded, or we cannot give, student cannot earn credit unless that test of 4 is completed. What are 4 mandatory requirements to earn credit? First thing is time expected to be devoted by the student for that course. Remember, this is learning hours. What we do in classroom or laboratory is instructional hours. It is contact hours. Instructional hours or contract contact hours are different than learning hours. Credit takes care of learning hours, not only contact or instructional hours. So if I conduct 45 hours, so in the class or laboratory, those 45 hours are instructional hours. They are contact hours. Learning hours are required to be much more than contact hours or instructional hours. So first, let us be very clear about the difference between instructional hours and learning hours. Second condition is that credits are function of achievement of desired learning outcomes for a program, for a course, or a training determined by successful assessment by competent authority. So what are the keywords? Assessment has to be done by competent authority only. Tomorrow, some students submit internship certificate from some shop or something and says that I have completed requisite internship, give me the credit. You cannot award credit simply on a certificate given by the student unless that certificate is based on assessment by the competent authority. In this case, competent authority may be the teacher and the internship provider jointly. You have to first decide who will assess internship. That assessment report is essential document for internship certificate, and that assessment has to be by competent authority. Who are competent authority? As of today, all national testing agencies, all state testing agencies, all universities, all institutions, even to all teachers. Sometimes if the teacher authorized for peer assessment, the peers, industry, whomsoever, but there has to be a document which shows that a person who is assessing is a competent. So competent authority is must, assessment is must, and that assessment has to be successful assessment. What do we mean by successful? The student must have demonstrated the attainment of expected learning outcome. So what is the basic condition? Have we expressed what are the expected learning outcome? So whether there is any lecture, session, training, course or a program, first and foremost requirement is specify what are the expected learning hours. Specify what are the expected learning outcome. Once notional hours, learning hours and expected outcomes are very clearly specified, then at the end, assessment is mandatory and assessment should be relevant to demonstration of attainment of expected outcome. So unless competent authority, assessment, assessment relevant to expected outcome, demonstration of attainment of outcome, and completion of learning hours, these four things are done, neither credits can be earned nor credits can be awarded. Now see, when we award credits for sports, when we award credit for field visit, when we award credit for cultural program, when we award credit for co-curricular courses, are we taking care of all these parameters? If not, tomorrow, when a question of equivalency may come, if our credits are not mapping with notional learning hours or it does not reflect assessment by competent authority and demonstration of attainment by the learner, our credits may not be considered as valid. That is why the concept of credit should be very clearly understood by each of us. Now, from where credits can be earned? Credits can be earned from academic education, from vocational education, from training, skilling, experiential learning, classroom teaching, laboratory, innovation lab, project, class test, quiz, yearly exam, half-yearly exam, formative assessment, other assessment, co-curricular activities, debate, discussion, celebration of festival, value education, career counseling, sports, games, life skills, community work, field visit, then project, industry attachment, internship, apprenticeship, on-job training, wherever learning happens, the credits can be earned. So please understand what is credit, how credits can be earned, from where credits can be earned. I hope the premise fundamental about credits are known. Now let us understand how notional hours and credit assignments are related. This is important. My request is each of us, even though we are, I do not know whether people are there or not, whether they are doing anything else or not, but my request, my appeal is please pay attention to coming 5 minutes. This is important part of implementation of NCRF, notional hours and credit assignment. The minimum number of learning hours per year must be 1200. What does it mean? When we say one academic year, we generally call one academic year means 2 semesters. Okay. We say that one academic year means 180 teaching days. Okay. Henceforth, one academic year means 1200 learning hours. So we have to show our academic calendar. We have to keep our record, which will validate every student have undergone 1200 learning hours in a year. Then only it will be considered that the student has completed academic year. And mapping with that those 1200 learning hours, minimum number of credits for 1200 learning hours in a year is 40. Now you will understand from where the figure of 40 to 44 have come for a year, and for a semester figure of 20 to 22 credits have come, because as per international standards, 1 year comprises of 1200 learning hours, which enables students to earn 40 credits. So one semester will be obviously of minimum 600 learning hours and will enable students to earn minimum 20 credits. One semester, which is of minimum 90 days, is considered to be of 15 to 18 weeks. Hence, if we consider 15 weeks and 600 hours, 1 week should consist of 40 learning hours. So what is important for us? Please ensure that your academic calendar, your individual course file, your departmental calendar shows this data and validate this data, that one semester has 600 learning hours. That has to be validated by showing the period. So you have to prove that semester had 600 learning hours and 1 week has minimum 35 to 40 learning hours. Now, if you refer to GR, Maharashtra government GR, you will find in GR of whether 20th April or 4th July, which is applicable for engineering, very clearly that directive mentions our 1 week must be not less than 35 learning hours, and our 1 year should not be less than 1200 learning hours. Now, this has come out of this credit framework. So now once we have understood the academic calendar, let us come how credits are allotted for a subject. Notional learning hours are 30 hours for 1 credit earning. There is lot of confusion between theory practical because for theory or tutorial class 15 hours instructional means 1 credit, and for practical or experiential or practicum 30 hours of instructional is 1 credit. I repeat, it is instructional hours, those are not learning hours. So even though for theory and tutorial minimum 15 hours per semester of classroom or tutorial contact hours or instructional hours will enable students to get 1 credit, that is about contact hours. But instructional hours may be 15, but learning hours have to be 30. So 1 credit means 30 notional hours. For theory, 1 credit is 15 instructional hours. For practicals, 1 credit is 30 notional, you can say, this instructional hours. Now this I have taken it from accreditation. So every teacher should ensure to comply with this chart. If we are calling presently teaching scheme, immediately rename it as teaching and learning scheme. And this teaching and learning scheme should have course code. The figure 1 indicates the level. It indicates the level of difficulty. A course starting with one number, so 100 to 199, it means they are of lower difficulty level. 200 will be higher difficulty and 400 will be highest difficulty level. Our teaching learning scheme must show 3 columns, one for classroom instruction, theory or lecture, lab instruction, LI for practicals or laboratory, and third is self-learning, that is term work and self-learning. Summation of class instruction and term work, that is self-learning, because practicals are made as a separate head of classing. So practical will be a separate column. So do not consider practical here for theory and tutorial. The summation of CI and SL has to be such that if we divide that total by 30, that will be a credit course. So suppose I say I have got 4 credit theory course. It means I will have 4 lectures per week in my timetable. So 4 hours per week means into 15 weeks. So 60 hours will be instructional hours. Additionally, there will be 60 self-learning hours, so that total notional learning hours will be 120. And when I divide 120 by 30, then number of credit will be 4. So if we go by reverse way, if our university has designed any course for 4 credit, multiply by 30, ensure that your total notional learning hours become 120. Out of those 120, whatever classroom instruction is provided by university, you put it there semester wise. Then 120 minus those, you have to put it in self-learning, and we have to ensure record is available for those self-learning work. So students will maintain their portfolio files. Whatever, everything is explained what comes under TW and SL. So those records should be there and it should be validated periodically, say once in a week, once in a fortnight, or once in a month in a semester, to ensure that self-learning is also validated assessed by the teacher, then only those notional learning hours will be counted. But I repeat, credit multiplied by 30 is equal to notional learning hours. So everybody should prepare according to that. So credit framework will summarizing 1 hour per week of theory or tutorial will be 1 credit. That's 1 hour is of instruction, not of learning. 1 credit will be equal to 30 learning hours. Out of that, 15 will be contact hours and 15 will be self-learning hours. While for practical, say per semester, if it is a 1 credit course, there will be 30 learning hours. Every semester will have 20 to 22 total credits. 1 year will have 40 to 44 credits. So total requirement for 3 years program will be 120 to 132 and for 4 years 160 to 176. Now we have completed our credit framework. Let me give a small assignment which you can submit to your coordinator later on. It will be sort of assessment. Can you please prepare a teaching learning plan for any one semester of your program in accordance with NCRF? So in accordance with this, so write down all course with their codes. If you are third year, it will begin with 300. If you are first year, you will begin with 100. Then write down how many class instructions per semester are provided. Lab instruction, ultimately credit multiplied by 30 should come out to be your total learning hour. So prepare this as a complete chart. Friends, this table will be mandatory requirement of document of your course file whenever accreditation will be there. Accreditation will begin with this chart. They will ask, what is the credit of your course? You will say 3 credits. How many instructional hours? You should be able to tell minimum 90. Out of 90, 45 are my class instruction and 45 are student self-learning. You will have to show the document for those 45 self-learning. Our class instruction document is already there, our assignment book, our attendance sheet, etc. So this is what is expected. So let us stop here for our part 1. We have completed 2 sessions, session 1 and 2. First was about fundamental concept. Second, we have talked about 4 cornerstones and national credit framework. Everybody of us will have to follow same credit framework. So if anybody wants to add something or ask something, we will wait for 2 minutes. Else, we will take break for 10 minutes and then we will again start for part 2. I hope either there are no questions right now or presently nobody wants to add or supplement whatever we have discussed. So Ankit ji, should we break for 10 minutes? Or if anybody from Ramravadik Institute is there, Dipali madam is there, Rajput sir I find, Pawar ma'am I see. Should we stop for 10 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay, so let us meet after 10 minutes. Anything you want me to, any feedback you want me to improve for your part 2? Any improvement is required from my side?
No, sir, it is going in a nice way.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so let us break for 10 minutes.
नाही सगळं मी आल्यावरती करून घेतो. त्याच्यावर ते स्वतःहून येत नाही, त्याच्यात जाऊन आता मला बसायला
जावा आपण या तारखेला कुठं होता त्या तारखेला कुठं काय सगळं तुमचं ठेवा.
आम्ही मागे नाही लागलो.
तुम्ही नवीन शिकले मला माहिती आहे सर, पण त्यांना सांगा असं असं मॅडम विचार होत्या
त्यांना
सांगायला सगळं ते ओढी बिडी देतात ते
वेगळं
सगळं.
आहे नाही घेतली बरं. तर पण तुम्ही काय नाही घेतली जर आता सांगायला.
हा तसं पॉझिटिव्हली घ्या म्हणा ठेवा.
मी मॅडमला सर आले की त्यांना सांगा की फाईल खाली सबमिट करायची आहे, व्हेरिफिकेशन होणार आहे.
खाली सबमिट द्या
डिपार्टमेंट वाईज क्रॉस व्हेरिफिकेशन होत आहे. डिपार्टमेंट क्रॉस व्हेरिफिकेशन चालू आहे.
कोणते अदरवाईज म्हणा पण ते असं पाहिलं की तुम्ही बघत नाही मी बघत नाही.
हा बाकीच्यांना तुमचं राहून जातं. त्यांना सांगतात फक्त मी इथे चाललोय
ते त्याचं रेकॉर्ड
फॉर्म नाही भरू.
ते फॉर्म भरा ना, फॉर्म भरा त्याचं आहे त्याचं आव्हान आम्हाला काय
ऑन पेपर
रिपोर्ट द्यायचा म्हणजे काय होतं पूर्ण फुल तयार काय तर देतील ते रिपोर्ट रिपोर्ट देऊन ठेवून टाकायचं या ठिकाणी गेले त्या आपण स्ट्रिक्ट टॅक्स होत. आता किरणचं वेगळ्या क्लॅश ना आपल्याला हॅलो हॅलो
Yes, sir. Should we start? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
Yeah. Should we start now or wait for 30 seconds? Yes, now 10 minutes are over. So, welcome back, everybody. Okay, so we are starting now our part 2, that is session 3. Everybody ready? Should we start?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So, this session will be basically on second framework, which is called as NHEQF, National Higher Educational Qualification Framework. First was National Credit Framework. So we have understood credit framework very clearly. The takeaway was our every week must have minimum 35 to 40 learning hours. It's not about instructional or contact hours. It is about students' learning hour, which will have two components. One is instructional hours and other is self-learning hours. And every semester must have 600 learning hours, and 600 learning hours are equivalent to 22 credits. So 1 year will have 1200 learning hours, and which will constitute 40 to 44 credits. Now about qualification framework. Let me give you brief history about National Higher Qualification Framework. It is not that this qualification framework like thing came in India only after NEP. Even before NEP, even before this draft of our NEP was submitted, before 2013 also, the qualification framework was there for vocation, vocational education, and skill education. We know that lot many vocation those who were doing vocations and occupations and skilled people were migrating throughout the world. To standardize their profiles with their skill sets, the International Labour Organization, along with international associations of trades, business, and industry, they have prepared expected competencies for various levels of skilled people. From that perspective, first National Vocation Qualification came into existence, then National Vocational Educational NVEQF came, then National Skill Qualification Framework NSQF came, and after NEP was accepted, National Higher Education Qualification Framework also came into existence. And these frameworks are foundation instruments for integration of vocational education with higher academic education. This is how multi-entry, multi-exit, or who will be eligible to take admission and for what sort of qualification like certificate or diploma or degree, all those things came out based on these qualification frameworks. So qualification framework already was there with international standards, and now it is extended to our higher education also. Now with this brief background, our expected learning outcome from session 3 will be all learned participants will not only be able to understand, but will also be able to implement competency-based and level-based qualification structure in higher education. Right from the beginning, I am reiterating that we are moving towards level-based, competency-based qualification education system through NEP. So we will have to understand what is this level we are talking about, what are the competencies associated with each level, and for that level and for those competencies, what qualification is expected to be given or earned by the learner. So this system is NHEQF based. So what are the objectives of NHEQF? Obviously, first and foremost will be to define academic standard and learning outcome for each level. So whole education system is converted into level. For each level, as per international or global standards, Indian standards and specifications are given for with that level. Parameters are mentioned, and for each of those parameters, certain outcomes are specified. So defining those standards and outcome, this framework is useful. Second, we are moving towards multi-entry, multi-exit system. So from various levels, the student will be pursued. It is the integration of various types of education. So this framework enables horizontal and vertical mobility across various disciplines. Third is, it promotes international comparability of Indian degrees, global standard, international curricula, international comparability, measurable parameters, global benchmarks, measurement and audit of those things. So everything is made feasible through NHEQF. So international comparability of our degrees. That is why Academic Bank of Credit and standardization of degrees will take place through this. This will also help the employer and as well as the learner for lifelong learning or employability. Now, what are the key features? Whole education system is divided into levels from 1 to 8. 1 to 4 is school education. So for our today's discussion, we will not take, we are limiting ourselves for higher education. So our higher education is now classified into levels from 4.5 to 8. So first year of our university higher education system is termed as level 4.5, while highest level, that is PhD, is termed as level 8 in higher education. For each level, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, for each level, the graduate attributes and learning descriptors are very well defined for each level. So,
Your voice is cracking.
yes, please. Is it okay now? Is it okay?
Yeah,
Am
it's
I
okay now. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, it is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for each level, you will find there will be specification, descriptions, and attributes. Then it also helps for recognition of prior learning, because as we know, in multi-entry system, a student who has left education at certain level at certain point of time is permitted to join at higher level. So recognition of prior learning is must. And finally, it provides the pathway for modular structure of multi-entry and multi-exit. So let us understand the levels, qualifications, and associated credits which must be earned. What we call it as first year presently, that is semester 1 and 2. After completion of semester 1 and 2 means 1200 learning hours. The student will have to earn 40 plus if the student opts for exit, another 4 credits for skill or internship. Then student will be termed as successfully completed level 4.5. And if the student prefers to exit, then undergraduate certificate will be awarded. If the student prefers to come to the next level, then he will enter level 5. He will complete second year, means now the student has completed semester 1, 2, 3, 4. The student have completed 1200 plus 1200, 2400 learning hours. The student has earned 40 of first year, another 40 of second year, that is 80 credits. And if the student prefers to exit, the student will have to earn 4 more credits in internship or skill, and the student will be awarded or eligible to get diploma. Like that, it will be for third year, 5.5, 3 years degree, 4 year, level 6, honors, up to PhD level 8. So level, exit year, associated qualification, and minimum credits to be earned. These are mapped in this way in NHEQF. So we know that each level represents a different level of skill, complexity of knowledge, responsibility, and autonomy required to demonstrate the competency commensurating with that level. So every level will be very specifically mentioned with expected competency and expected complex of knowledge, skill, and affinitive domain. So once the student demonstrate to have attained those, then the qualification will be issued if the student prefers to exit. So summarizing, every week must have 40 learning hours. Every semester must have 600 learning hours. Every year must have 1200 learning hours. And according to year, semesters, level, learning hours, credit, the qualification of exit will be awarded to the student. Now, as I am telling for quite a number of times, that every level will be having certain minimum credits to be earned and minimum competency to be demonstrated. The student must attend and demonstrate the competency commensurating with that level. And those competencies, those expected learning outcome will be clearly described. They will be specified and they are called as qualification descriptors. So let us understand for each level, what are the descriptors? Obviously, descriptors will be for 3 domains: knowledge, skill, attitude, behavior, and depending upon level, the stage, like from memorizing, understanding to synthesis for knowledge domain, like that. So those will be very clearly specified, known as descriptor. So let us understand those descriptors. Now level and qualifications we have understood very clearly. Now very important part is each level is structured based upon the defined learning outcome. What are those learning outcomes? Those are the statements, specifications about what the learner is expected to know and understand, what the learner is expected to do, able to do, and what level of, you can say, supervision or behavior or responsibility the student will be able to handle. These 3 things should be very clearly defined. Those are known as specification. And students should be able to demonstrate those attributes defined in terms of outcome. Most important part of this NHEQF is these attributes can be acquired through any mode of learning. So mode of learning can be direct in person, that is instruction, class instruction, lab instruction, or on open distance learning, or online education, or hybrid, or blended. That is why 40% of the credit can be earned through. Presently, they have mentioned Swayam, NPTEL. Tomorrow, Mahaswayam is coming. Next time, every university may have their own platform. Tomorrow, international platform may be permitted. Or many edutech industries are coming with their own platforms. L&T has come, Infosys has come. So those may get also permitted. So from where the student has learned what was the mode of learning is not much important, but important is demonstration of expecting learning outcome or attribute. So this is the important base of NHEQF and our future education. Now let us understand and try to frame qualification description for our domain. Now these level descriptors, let me just tell you one small history about these level descriptors. We know NEP is a journey from local to global. Globally, various descriptors and qualification frameworks are available. India has adopted European Union's qualification descriptor, and we have aligned our system with European Union system. European Union has got the process known as Bologna process and the descriptors known as Dublin descriptors. So our process is aligned with Bologna process, and our descriptors, they are our own, they are our national, but they are mapped with Dublin descriptors. So one should only understand this much, that how we are going for global standard or international standard. Now in our case, NSQF was earlier 1 to 10, now it is modified to 1 to 8 to map with NHEQF. So whether NSQF or NHEQF, we will go with NHEQF. It is associated with descriptors made up of 5 outcome statements, which in general term, they define what is the minimum knowledge, cognitive domain, skills, psychomotor domain, and attributes, affinitive domain, that a learner needs to acquire in order to be certified for that level. Now they are described by, you can say, a statement in 5 domains or 5 classes. They are called as descriptor. So those statements in 5 classes are descriptor. So each domain or each class will have some statements. Now what are those 5 classes or 5 domains? First is professional theoretical knowledge. So it is cognitive domain, knowledge domain. Second is professional and technical skills and expertise. So psychomotor domain. Third is attitude, mindset, soft skills, employment readiness. So affinitive domain. Then broad learning outcome, and again is affinitive domain, level of responsibility. So let us see what will be there for professional knowledge, that is cognitive domain, knowledge domain, information domain. It is what a learner should know and understand with reference to subject or field of knowledge. It is described in terms of depth, breadth, kinds of knowledge, and complexity. Depth of knowledge can be general or specialized. Breadth of knowledge can range from single topic to multidisciplinary area. Kind of knowledge can be concrete to abstract, segmented to cumulative. And complexity will be various combination of kind, depth, and breadth. Now, professional skills, psychomotor. It means what a learner should be able to do. It is about cognitive skills, creative skills, procedural skills, procedural knowledge, and creative skills, involving use of intuitive, logical, critical thinking. Communication skills, there is some work going on here. Okay. Communication skills, interpersonal skills, and basic skills involving dexterity, use of method, material, tool, instrument for performing the job. We are preparing the student for the job, including IT skills for a given level of study and work. Aptitude is, of course, readiness for it includes digital, financial, legal, and broad learning are generic performance criteria, complex tasks, and level of responsibility means to what level supervision is needed for doing a job, or to what level the person is capable of exercising supervision over others. So it determines nature of working relationship, level of responsibility for self and others, managing change, and accountability for action. Now, on these 5 statements, which are based on these 3 domains, let us see how the requirement or specification changes for level 4.5, that is first year, to level 5 means second year, 5.5 means third year, 6 means fourth year. See, element of descriptor is same, knowledge and understanding. If we take level 4.5 means undergraduate certificate, you will find it expects understanding of procedural knowledge, then understanding knowledge of fact, concept, principle, theory, processes, in broad multidisciplinary learning area with the chosen field of learning. It means a student has selected chosen field of learning as engineering. In engineering, in first year, it is expected that student will get broad multidisciplinary, some basic science courses, some basic engineering courses, and among those also, the content should be only about, you can say, descriptive knowledge, like knowledge of fact, concept, principle, theory. You don't have to have very broad or in-depth knowledge in first year subjects. So if the student has chosen engineering, there should be 2-3 basic engineering areas, 2-3 basic science areas, other vertical, and syllabi of each of them should be just about fact, concept, principle. Now, if the student, same thing will be for procedural, that it is expected that student is able to do the para-professional task only. This is about descriptive and procedural knowledge for first year. Now, if the student goes out of first year, he will get certificate. But if the student enters into second year, which we want, now see, as soon as student enters into level 5, which we call it as second year, there, deep first year, first plus second semester, fundamental theoretical knowledge he already has now. Now, in third semester, the student should be taken into deeper knowledge and understanding of one of the learning areas. So here, his mechanical engineering, computer engineering, etc. will be fixed. From first year to second year, student can change a branch. Those diploma holders, they lateral enter into second year, but computer student can enter mechanical, mechanical can enter computer up to second year, that is third semester only. Once entered into third semester, major, minor is fixed. The student will not be able to choose. And in that, one of the learning area, what we call it as major, the deeper knowledge and understanding will start. Now, when the student enters into level 5.5, that is semester 5th and 6th, you will find basic knowledge, deeper knowledge already there. Now, knowledge of current and emerging issues and development within the chosen field of learning. This is how curriculum should also change. First year, 2-3 disciplines, basic knowledge, basic practicals, basic hands-on. Second year, one major finalize, take into deep, go into more detail. This is about only knowledge domain we are talking about. In third year, it will become advanced knowledge, and in fourth year, it will be research-based knowledge. So this is how curriculum will also change, syllabus will also change, assessment will also change for knowledge. If we come to second domain, psychomotor domain, one thing let me repeat, curriculum must have all the 3 domains. If any domain is missing, our education will not be complete. That is NEP. Now, if we come to psychomotor, that is application of knowledge, you will find in first year, that is level 4.5, what is expected is that a range of cognitive and practical skills to select and use basic methods, basic tools, material, and information to generate solution to specific problem. So it is as the practicals we generally give to student. Procedure is given, equipment is given, demonstration, how to perform. We expect them to do perfectly, do calculation, and they are expected to be perfect in whatever is told them to do. But if the student comes to level 5, what we call it as second year, now student will not only be able to select or apply basic knowledge, but they will be able to apply their specialized knowledge now. Now, second year, they are getting into deep. So they have been given specialized knowledge. First year, operational and technical knowledge. Here, specialized knowledge, and here they should be able to, you can say, find the formulate the solution also. So second year practicum will be having different, they will be provided with problem statement, and they will be expected to find out general solution. They should become critical thinker and solution provider by using now not general knowledge, but the specialized knowledge. Now if they come to third year, so level 5.5, their first year, second year, general knowledge, specialized knowledge, they have done. But now they should not only be able to gather quantitative quality data, but they should be able to analyze. See, in second year, they were expected to gather the quantitative qualitative data. In third year, they are expected to be analytical also. Along with collecting the data, they should be able to analyze the data to assess the appropriateness of different approaches of solving problem, and they should ultimately decide what is the right approach to generate solution. So one problem, different approaches, and telling the most optimum approach for this. So imagine what type of practical should be given to first year, what type of practicals and assessment should be there for second year, what type of problems and small project in even laboratories are expected to be given in third year, and in fourth year it should have the research flavor also. So similarly, for each of the domains, say skill required to perform and accomplish the task, everything is very clearly given in NHEQF. We know that affective domain is also integral part of, there are 3 domains in education. So employability ready skill or entrepreneurship skill also. So in case of, you can say, first year student, they should be able to exercise responsibility for completion of assigned tasks. While in second year, that is diploma holder, they should be able to supervise the work of others and taking care of some responsibility of others. While third year, that is graduate, they should be exercised to manage along with supervision various activities of the context as well as unpredictable work processes and working environment. So if I am designing curriculum for first year, my projects, my co-curricular activity, sports, cultural, NSS, community engagement, social engagement should be designed to assess, and students should be able to demonstrate the ability of taking responsibility of their own work. While when I am designing for level 5, that is diploma, that is second year, I have to design so that student will demonstrate self-management and guidelines of study and work content, and they are able to supervise routine work. While they are of student third year, that is 3 years degree, BSc Tech, what they have suggested for engineering or BO, we have to ensure that our assessment show, assess, and student demonstrate they are able to manage and supervise involving unpredictable work processes and work environment. So this type of situations have to be given differently for different level like first year, second year, and third year. So similarly, in case of values, first year is expected whatever is told to them, they follow. Second year, they are able to argue and they are able to, wherever breach of value system is there, they should be able to point out. And in third year student and fourth year, they are able to design new value system. See, earlier only physical systems were there. Then digital and computing system, ethical hacking, and you can say internet manners and email manners came and values came into picture. Now in the arena of AI, new value system will come. So those who are degree holder, 3-year, 4-year or postgraduate degree holder, they will be able to design the value systems. Second year people will be able to put argument and implement value system, and first year student, that is certificate holders, are expected to demonstrate they follow the value system, they gel with the value system, they become the integral part of the value system. This is how the clear-cut differentiation should be seen in curriculum, in our syllabi, in discharging our syllabi to the student, and in our assessment. This is overall nutshell is implementation of NHEQF. So if I summarize it, you will find element of descriptor, suppose knowledge and understanding at first year or for level 4.5 or certificate level. It talks about basic concept, principle, processes. Diploma, that is second year, broader theoretical understanding and deeper in one area, major. In third year, comprehensive specialized knowledge with emerging trend, and in fourth year, advanced and research based. Similarly, skills, basic cognitive skill, first year, moderate level skills, analyzing and synthesizing ideas, second year, evaluating, solving complex problem and higher order analytical skills, third year, and research-based skills in fourth year. This is how level-based for every descriptor, very clear-cut specifications are given, and commensurating with these specifications, curriculum has to be designed. Under curriculum, the syllabus, the courses are to be put. For each courses, must have all three domains. The total courses must show all three domains, and depending upon the level, competencies should be very clearly reflected. That should be imparted in our daily curriculum exchange teaching learning process, and in our assessment also that should be seen. So these are the key differentiator which I am talking about. Now, what are the key words for assessment? Ultimately, when some audit team will come, some accreditation team will come. If I am a teacher of first year and third year, I will have course file of first year and third year. How my course file assessment should differ for second year and for third year, or for first year and 4-year differently. See, if I am a teacher for level 4.5, my assessment should have verbs like define, list, because I will be operating in remember, understanding, and basic apply area. Bloom's taxonomy, knowledge domain. I am talking about knowledge domain. For skill domain, first 3 levels will be there. For affinity also, first 3 will be there. I am just giving example of knowledge domain, cognitive domain. So what questions should have I? Generally, this is suggestive, not final. I should have questions with define, label, calculate, select, demonstrate, which shows that I am operating under the level of memorizing, understanding, and basic application. What is if I am a teacher of second year? My assessment paper should show that I am in the understanding, applying, and analyzing. Don't have any question which will indicate memorizing or remembering. So define, please don't ask question. Define as far as possible in second year. Because what is expected is moderate depth and one, you can say, subject in depth. What should be our level of question? Interpret, compare, illustrate, how, why, compute, summarize, classify. Now, if I am a teacher of third year, level 5.5, 3 years degree, what is expected? Solving complex problem. That competence is expected. Evaluating, making judgment. What are the Bloom's level stages? No remembering, no understanding. It should be application, analyzing, and evaluating. So what should be my question? Start with analyze, design, evaluate, recommend, simulate, construct, develop, troubleshoot, that type of. And if I am of 4th year, what is expected is advanced research, innovation, ethical decision making, leadership. And Bloom's levels are no remembering, no understanding, very little applying, but more on analyzing, evaluating, and synthesizing. So my assessment questions will be formulate, hypothesize, defend, optimize, create, derive, innovate. So such type of things should be there. And I should be able to show this type of assessment. Then it will be validate the level for which I am there. And then it will be said that yes, students have demonstrated the competency mapping with that level. What will happen if I am a teacher of 4th year and my question paper shows questions starting with define or identify or explain? We may say that I am giving 4-year degree, but tomorrow audit or equivalency may say that no, it is about 1st or 2nd year. So you call it degree, we call it diploma. What will happen? So to avoid such conflict, we have to, because throughout nation and it is aligned with international standardization, the specifications for each level have to be meticulously met with. That is how the umbrella of credit and qualification framework will result into standardization of higher education system. This is how credits earned in one institute will be considered to be equivalent with others institute. This is how the qualification of one institute will be considered as equivalent of any other institute. The basis for equivalency will be how credits are earned, whether all test of 5 is there or not, and whether qualification is commensurating with level and level is commensurating with specifications, and specifications are demonstrated in assessment, and student demonstrate the competency through assessment of the required level. This is the philosophy of standardization and going ahead. So I have shown some of what is expected at each level. So we have to go for one more. So I will go fast. So for NHE, you have level 4.5, that is what we normally call at first year, first semester, second semester, 1200 learning hours, 40 to 44 credits. It is expected is broad range of knowledge, routine non-routine, factual theoretical knowledge, logical mathematical skills, using of standard non-standard practices, job holder responsible for their own job. We are preparing students for their future job role. And generally they are known as master technicians or skilled workers or trainer. And they are certificate holder and they will carry out their job roles to communicate clearly, collect data and organize information. If they are of diploma, that is level 5, semester 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 1200 plus 1200, 24-hour learning, and 40 plus 40, 80 credits plus 4 credit skill or internship, they are expected to have factual theoretical knowledge and deeper knowledge of one area, major. And they will solve problem by selecting and applying method. They will be able to generate solution. They are expected to understand what constitutes quality in the occupation and distinguish between good, bad quality. They are expected to work with show understanding of environmental issue. They will take care of health and safety issues. They will conduct themselves with show understanding of social and political environment. So for 2 levels, we have provided the descriptors. Now time for assessment comes. We are following the cycle. Tell expected learning outcome to all, have teaching learning process, and at the end, assess, and the learner should demonstrate the competency expected. So this is the stage of assessment from my side, and your side is, can you write qualification descriptor for level 5.5? See, I have already given everything. This is for 5, this is 4.5. These are the descriptors given for each level. So on this basis, please try to write and submit to your coordinator what are the descriptors for third year, for fifth, sixth semester, for level 5.5 of your own program. Try to write down. There will be 5 areas, knowledge, and 3 domains, as we have mentioned earlier also. On that basis only, please try to write down qualification descriptor. Now you will understand one thing, that through NEP, it is not a change, it is the transformation. We are going from academic system to 3 domain system of knowledge domain, skill domain, behavioral domain. We are going from year-based system to level-based, competency-based, according to level and competency qualification-based system. So it is a complete transformation of higher education. Here, flexible curricular structures will be there. Here, you can say mode of learning can be anything. It can be face-to-face. It can be through open and distance learning. It can be online learning. It can be blended learning. It can be experiential learning. It can be flipped learning. There is a provision of credit transfer through academic bank of credit. So everybody will have to follow the protocol of credits. Degree program will be having multi-entry, multi-exit options with appropriate certification. Now let us come to syllabus framing. I hope everybody has understood by this time what are the domains, what are the stages of domain, what are the credit framework, how credit are associated with notional learning hours, how learning hours are different than instructional hours, how many hours make a week, how many hours make a semester, how many hours make a year. We have understood each year means one level, and each level will have specifications, and which level with specifications and attainment of competencies will lead to qualification. So now in those curriculum level and competencies, what should be the courses? It is what should be the disciplines. NEP clearly talks about what disciplines will make education multidisciplinary. So is any question, anything you want to understand regarding domains, stages, credit, level, specifications, descriptors, qualifications, anything you want to understand? If yes, we can break for a minute only, or else. Now we are going into inside of the curriculum. What do we mean by multidisciplinary curriculum? Which disciplines are necessary to be present in any curriculum? Let it be of BA, BCom, BSc, BE. Is it, should we go ahead? Or any query for credit and specifications, qualification specifications?
So we can take the questions at the end.
Okay, hello. Now let us go to what should be there inside the curriculum. Now very clearly the vision of NEP says education has to be holistic and multidisciplinary. they do not stop there. They say what should be components of multidisciplinary. Now let us read one by one. Education should enable an individual. I repeat, they do not mention a group or a class. We are moving towards personalized individual learning system. In what way? To study one or more specialized area of interest at a deep level, major and minor. So education will have, after giving canvas of 2-3 disciplines, student will find which is of his interest, his or her, and will select one or two. So one will become major, other will become minor. Also develop character, ethical, constitutional values, intellectual curiosity, scientific temper, creativity. So character, values, ethics, behavior, so dispositions, affinitive component will be second integral part of education. Third, spirit of service. So community engagement, social service, community engagement service will be one of the integral part of that discipline. 21st century capabilities. So skill education, psychomotor domain will be integral part of. So there will be vocational skill component of in any education. Disciplines including science, social science, arts, humanities, languages. So ability enhancements in basic sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities. So there has to be provision for in the form of open elective. There has to be one component of open elective where student will go out of his own discipline, and other than own discipline, the out of interest, that there should be provision of learning. Integration of professional, technical and vocational subject. So there has to be a component of vocational subject, vocational skill, subject of languages, provision for learning of arts, humanities, social sciences, component of sciences, some 21st century skills, community service. So all these together will make education holistic or multidisciplinary. Now, from mandate of NEP, you will find verticals of NEP has come. So what does our NEP statement say? It should be in 3 domains: cognitive, psychomotor, affinitive. There should be program that is learning areas of interest like science, commerce, engineering, architecture, management. There should be discipline of interest under broad learning areas like physics, economics, computer, civil, mechanical, AI, etc. One of the more specialized area of interest in deep level, so major discipline, computer or civil, mechanical or physics or chemistry, it has to be a multidisciplinary. So minor discipline, there has to be an interdisciplinary education. So open elective or minor has to be there. 21st century capability along various capability. So 21st century capability will go on changing. So those have to be provided. Humanities, English, other linguistics should be there. Some science, other disciplines, environmental study, financial literacy management, spirit of service, community, social service, engagement, character, ethical values, value, ethics, attitude, behavior, IKS, UHV, constitution. Then vocational education, skilling, training, internship, field project, life skills, communication skills. So this is what is the statement of NEP policy vision document. From that, now government of Maharashtra has taken out verticals of NEP. You will find those verticals mentioned in GR. They are derived from NEP's vision statement. So you will find what are the verticals mandatory given in our NEP 4th July or 20th April, both GR. 20th April GR is for UGC, 4th July GR is for with the technical institution. Choice of major minor courses of IKS, internship field on-job training OJT, FPCP, vocational skill enhancement courses, languages, ability, value education courses, open electives, MOOC, generic elective and co-curricular courses. You will find all verticals. They are derived from vision statement of NEP. So GR gets mapped with NEP. And from that, what are the, you can say, credits allotment given? You will find before we frame any curriculum, keep in mind that 30 notional learning hours per semester will entail student to earn 1 credit, whether it is theory or practical. Every course will need to have 30 notional hours. Out of that, for theory tutorial, 15 will be instructional hours and 15 will be self-learning hours. Together, it will make 1 credit. And for lab, 30 lab hours will make 1 credit. Per semester, there have to be 22 because they correspond to 600 learning hours. And 1 year will be 42-44, corresponds to 1200 learning hours. So total credit for 3 years will be obviously 40 into 3, that is 122, 132. For we engineering, 162, 176. Now, those credit distribution, you will find it will be level. So level means first year, certificate level. So our very clear-cut specifications are given. First year will have 2-3 subjects of the discipline. Out of that, 1 subject will be selected as major in 3rd semester. There should be all those verticals we have seen, but content of all these courses should be mapping with level 4.5. That is basic knowledge, basic descriptive knowledge, basic procedural knowledge. For psychomotor also, lower stages. For affinity also, lower stages. Accordingly, you will find all those verticals are divided in first year among semester 1 and 2, each having total 20 to 22 credit. So total 40 to 44 credit. So if the student prefers to go out, the student will get UG certificate after gaining credits of first year courses and 4 credit from internship. So wherever that skill or internship is done, certificate will be obtained for that where the skilling is done. So you will find distribution of those verticals and their allotted credits for first year. Now in second year we'll have 2 levels. First 4.5 already completed, then semester 3 and 4. Together, now in semester 3, you will find there will be 1 major, minor, and related to major and minor field project, community engagement project will start. When the student comes to 3rd year, degree level, so there will be 4.5 level, 5 level, 5.5. So it will be 4.5 means least difficult, medium difficult, and high difficult. 4th year will be research level. So here, second year and 3rd year, that is semester 3 to from 3 onwards, there will be major, which will be taken into depth. Then, like you can say, distribution of the credits, you will find will change according to the level. In 3rd year, you will not find AEC or etc. Those are lower level courses, so they have to be finished in 1st year or at the most 2nd year. So this is how the curriculum is formed from NEP. And we will enter into now our session 4, how to go inside the subjects now. Last 5-10 minutes we will have, and we will keep 5 minutes for our, probably we may extend 5 minutes, please excuse me. So let us go to our session 4. Now what we have understood? We have understood basic concept, we have understood credit framework, we have understood qualification framework, then we have understood what are the verticals from NEP, how those verticals and credits are allotted, and now template for curriculum is ready. So what vertical and for how much credit it should be in first semester or in sixth semester or in eighth semester. So how those verticals, their credit are distributed from first to eighth semester, that we have understood. They are done as per the verticals, as per their levels, as expected in NHEQF. Now we are going inside. Now we have prepared the curriculum. Now we have to select the courses and content of the courses in that curriculum. That is done on outcome-based, you can say, education. So for that, the document or instrument available is LOCF, that is Learning Outcome-Based Curriculum Framework. Remember, friends, finally, the document which we will see now, all curriculum must come in this format only, LOCF format only. This is the ultimate document which will go to individual teachers and when the teacher go into class. So what are the expected outcome? Understand the concept and feature of OBE and understand how to design and implement LOCF. So outcome-based. Yes, madam. Anything, Patil madam? Yes. It talks about performance.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, okay. So it is about learner, not only teacher. Second thing, there has to be something performable, that is, which is demonstrable, accessible by the student. And focus is on performance, not on the activity or task. We have taken to industrial visit. No, it is activity. What were the learning outcome of that visit and whether those outcomes have been assessed and found students have demonstrated or not. So everything is on performance, not on activity or task. So it focuses on competency. It's on, you can say, outcome. And obviously, outcome should be in skill, knowledge, and attitude. And assessment should be during as well as at the end. So these are the key features. Now let us understand this document LOCF. As usual, you will find it has come out from Ministry of Education, UGC, etc. So what is LOCF? How does it look like? It will start with clear statement of what knowledge, skill, and attitude the student will be able to demonstrate as having acquired on successful completion of a program of study. So we know program of study will be certificate, diploma, degree, 4 years degree, PG diploma, PG degree, like that. So for each qualification, there should be clearly measurable statements, and those statements are first should be graduate attribute, followed by program educational objectives, program specific outcome, program outcomes, and from program outcome, individual course outcome. So let us understand one by one that you can say that every student must have demonstrated it is. So we will go ahead. So planning will go from outcome, PSOs, it means attributes, then PSOs, POs, outcomes, from our course module outcome, and from module outcome, every intended learning outcome of 1 to 2 hours. Means, for example, my course contains 6 units or modules. So in each module, there might be 3-4 bits. Each bit may be of 1 to 2 hours. So for each bit of each module, I have to specifically write what is my intended outcome. But curriculum will show graduate attributes, program outcomes, and course outcome. Now, what are graduate attributes? They are generic abilities in knowledge, skill, attitude, and value that must be shown. And this is irrespective of any degree. Those are common. 11, 12 attributes have been identified. They are characteristics attributes. Whether it is a BS, BCom, BSc or BE, those attributes are disciplinary knowledge and skill. Now, below that, you may write for your own program. But disciplinary knowledge and skill is the first attribute every student will have to demonstrate. Communication, critical thinking, problem solving, sense of inquiry, team player, skilled project manager, digitally literate, ethical awareness, and lifelong learner. So every graduate will need to have those attributes very clearly specified. So for our engineering program, also there will be a clear-cut attributes. Generally, for each program, say under disciplines program in engineering program, say computer science engineering is discipline, civil engineering is discipline. So for each program, there will be common 12 attributes, but with respect to each discipline, slight few words before that of that discipline will be given. Program outcomes are set of narrow statement from graduate attributes, similar to attribute only. So they will clearly show the competency expected. So of that program at the time of graduation. And if program specific is relevant, some programs may be specific to certain area. Say for example, in Navi Mumbai area, a lot of infrastructure, metros, such type of or railway engineering, highway engineering is going. So civil engineering people may say that we are specifically programmed is devoted to cities like development of Mumbai 3. So Mumbai was there, New Mumbai was there, and now it is announced that third Mumbai will be developed around Pen to Panvel. Okay, so with keeping that specific in mind, you may have program specific outcome that our graduate will be able to work in metro railways, or they will be able to design cities under SIDCO for expanding metros. So specific 2 or 3, you are specific to your program, some narrow statement of particular specialization you can write. So total 10, 11, 12 POs and 2, 3 PSOs, that should be mentioned. And program outcomes will be competencies mentioned, which are based on graduate attribute. Say, for example, competency is our first attribute. So your PO will be to demonstrate disciplinary knowledge capable of demonstrating, say, comprehensive knowledge, understanding of one or more disciplines that form a undergraduate program. Now, those competencies you should be able to show indicator. How do you know that these competencies are imbibed? Students have demonstrated the attainment of, say, competency of disciplinary knowledge. So that will be only be known through assessment. So if you have got assessment having questions, calculate, predict, apply, your inference will be that the student is able to use information, use methods, concept, laws, is able to solve problem, demonstrate correct use of method. Then you will say that these are the indicators which show that students have ability to develop in-depth basic skills and knowledge of work. They are able to identify use tools of practice. They are able to maintain and handle material, equipment, and required activity. Then you will say that, okay, my PO competency of disciplinary knowledge students have demonstrated. So in this way, competency indicator, say suppose I will take 1 or 2. Problem analysis. How do you know? It means expected is student is able to extrapolate, identify, formulate, review literature, analyze complex problem, dividing complex problem into smaller problem, breakdowning. So these are the competencies you are expecting. How do you know it? If you have got questions with classify, breakdown, categorize, analyze, diagram, illustrate, infer, select, and students are able to answer it, you will say that students have shown capacity of breaking down, identifying missing information, etc. So competency of problem analysis is attained. Students have demonstrated the attainment of the attribute or competency of problem analysis. So your PO2 is achieved. So like that for all 11, you can say outcomes and attributes, one has to write the attribute, one has to write the POs. Now we don't have to write ourselves. UGC, AICTE, NAT, NBA, they have provided us attributes as well as outcomes. We have to ensure that what are the indicators, and those indicators should be reflected in our teaching learning transactions. So may I give a small exercise? Please try to identify competency and indicators from any one of the courses you teach or facilitate. You must be teaching more than 2-3 courses. For any one of the course, try to understand what are the competencies you are expecting from that course and what are the indicators which show that students have attained the competency. Now, finally, it comes to individual course. So from program will have say 10-12 courses in each level. So 40 courses will be there, and each course should also have course learning outcome, and each course learning will have say 5-6 units or module. So each module or unit should also have what do you expect. And when you go to class, every teacher for each module or unit, if it is having 4-5 bits, each bit teacher used to find out what is intended learning outcome of that bit. Intended learning outcomes of 4-5 bits together will make the module outcome. All 5-6 modules, total module outcomes will make a course outcome. Course outcomes of various courses will make, you can say, mapping with competencies achieved. So they will map with outcomes, and outcomes will map with attributes. So this is how complete cycle of outcome-based education works. And remember, what is important is performance, condition, and competency level. These are the keywords of whenever you will do your course or even bit learning outcome. Last thing, please understand the difference between assessment, examination, and evaluation. Because NEP says high-stake examinations thrust should be reduced, and we should have more assessment. That too, formative assessment, continuous assessment should be there instead of summative assessment. Please understand the difference between assessment, examination, evaluation. And for knowledge domain, that is cognitive domain, 80% is almost academic domain, which has got stages of remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Generally, remembering, understanding, applying, and to some extent analyzing can be assessed through fixed hour examination, continuous internal or semester end examination, give thrust on formative, but analyzing, evaluating, and creating higher level, you can say, assessment is generally done through capstone project, minor project, mini project, or course project. There are many verticals such as co-curricular courses, internship, apprenticeship, field project, where there cannot be examination. So there are seminars. So we should have rubrics, that is assessment rubric. So rubric is a scoring guide to interpret and grade student on any kind of work against certain criteria and standard. So we have to use various strategies and techniques from assessment rubrics to continuous evaluation, formative assessment, examination, capstone, minor, mini, course project. So various strategies and tools have to be used when we implement NEP. So I think I शेवटच्या स्लाइड थोड्या फास्ट गेल्या पण ओके. Let us, if anybody wants to add or somebody wants to participate or have certain questions, you are free. I cannot open that chat box, so I have not seen if there are certain questions or not. So please, if anybody has got any question, I will try to answer. Or if anybody wants to add something, their experiences, so that everybody, including I, will get benefit. Please go ahead.
Sir, myself, Chandrakant Gaikwad.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I wanted to ask about BT level 6, that is create aspect. Actually, as you indicated, this can be evaluated using projects, course project, this thing. But also we sometimes would like to have questions on this BT level in our descriptive questions also. So how can we incorporate this in questions? Or should
Sir,
we only access it using projects only?
No, not only, sir, that assessment tools techniques itself can be a complete FDP. So much if you see AICT exam reforms or UGC's evaluation technique, that instrument, you will find there are so many strategies, including continuous assessment using IT tools also and our traditional methods also. So what you are saying is right. Even for level 6, that is, you can say 4th year, what we call, where advanced and research based is expected. So can there be questions on research methodology? And probably yes, there could be some question based examination also, case study based examinations also, where you are providing with some data and you are asking them to create a new pattern based on data. That can also be a theoretical question also. Or if you give a statement and ask student to design a system, say for example, in case of chemical reaction engineering, you provide a system and ask them to design a reactor or design a distillation column. Perfectly, that could also be a theory-based examination. But ultimately, if they synthesize something, they try to innovate, they try to create new pattern. That is what is, because 4th year of undergraduate is equivalent to 1st year of postgraduate. That sort of leveling is done. In case of UGC courses, a student of 4th year undergraduate degree will directly land into 2nd year of MA, MCom, MSc. In case of engineering, the student will undergo 2 years of postgraduate. So that level is expected to be researched. Now, what should be the assessment strategy? Generally, it is said that some project will show their competency to create something, to implement something in practice. But that doesn't mean that is the only way of assessment. So there, what you are saying is right. Could there be even theoretical? Answer is yes. Many of the project PhDs are based on theoretical analysis only. So that can be done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think so. At the end, Dr. Dongre ma'am, do you want to ask anything?
No, sir. I just wanted to ask the participants whether they have any query.
Yeah.
If at all, they can go ahead. Otherwise, we can conclude with the session. I have
Right.
many questions, but since we are over the time, I may reach to you personally, sir.
Yeah, anytime, ma'am. You can take
Yes,
my
sir.
number also, no problem.
Sure, sir. Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
So if there are no questions, then we can conclude with the permission of Professor Marathi, sir.
So let me express my
Sir. Yeah,
of
please,
gratitude towards all learned participants from Ramaravadi Institute of Technology Engineering College, D.Y. Patil, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, and Ankit. Special thanks to you and Atik sir. So please, now you may conclude.
Yes, sir. Yes. So on behalf of Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center at Gadge Baba Amravati University, Ramrao Adig Institute of Technology, D.Y. Patil University, Nerul, Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, uh, all the organizers and all our learned participants, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Marathe sir. Within a short span of time period, sir have explained the entire frameworks of this national education policy and very briefly. And definitely, sir, whatever maybe you have explained here, that will be very useful in our upcoming rather than teaching, I will say it the learning days, because we being the teacher are in the learning phase, and this policy is a learner centric policy. So definitely, sir, this inputs will very really beneficial for us, and it we will try to inculcate this in our upcoming syllabus drafting as well as our teaching learning, and ultimately the evaluation and the ultimate our institutional and the policy implementation in this. So with this, I once again extend my sincere thanks to you for your precious time and thought-provoking session here. And I would also like to thanks to all the participants for their patience listening and active participation during the session. And with the kind consent of Professor Marathe sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marathe sir from
Thank you.
REIT.